the covenant and the ark and all these bizarre stories that have lasted throughout history. And the real evidence that there was really sophisticated societies that lived thousands and thousands of years ago.
Deep beneath the hills of ancient Shiloh, archaeologists uncovered something they were never prepared to find. A chamber sealed for over 2,000 years, lined with gold residue and inscriptions that match the biblical description of the Ark of the Covenant. But that's not all. Declassified intelligence reports and new satellite data reveal patterns of underground cavities beneath the same coordinates mentioned in the book of Jeremiah. Could this be the long-lost resting place of the Ark itself? The discovery has shaken both science and faith, and if proven true, it could fulfill one of the most powerful prophecies ever written. In the hills of ancient Shiloh, a team of archaeologists uncovered something that defied belief. Stone chambers carved with perfect precision, lined with traces of gold and iron oxide.
Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more awe-inspiring stories of faith, survival, and miracles.
Within them, ancient Hebrew inscriptions read, "Shekinah rests here." The team froze, realizing these markings match descriptions from 1 Samuel 4, the chapter that recounts where the Ark of the Covenant was last kept before vanishing from history. But this wasn't just another excavation. It was a discovery that could bridge faith and science and ignite an ancient prophecy. Using ground-penetrating radar and LIDAR imaging, the scans revealed a rectangular void beneath the structure, its dimensions astonishingly similar to those listed in Exodus 25:10, where God commands Moses to build an ark of acacia wood, overlaid with pure gold, with 2 cherubim upon its lid. The dimensions described in that passage match almost exactly the void scanned beneath Shiloh. The lead archaeologist, Dr. Eli Ben Abraham, described it as an anomaly that defies explanation. He wasn't the first to search for the Ark, but he may have been the first to find something that could truly be it. Could Scripture itself be aligning with modern discovery? Scientists are cautious, but believers are stirred, because the Bible doesn't just describe an artifact, it describes God's dwelling among men. What did the deeper scan reveal inside the sealed chamber? When the team lowered a micro-drone camera into the cavity, what it captured looked like a scene frozen in time. Dust, gold flakes, and fragments of stone illuminated by the camera's light. And then, 2 symmetrical shapes at the far end of the chamber, facing each other, just as described in Scripture, the cherubim. The chamber's orientation faced precisely toward Jerusalem, a detail that sent chills down every spine in the control tent. The images were immediately secured and analyzed by a joint team of Israeli and American specialists. Some saw artistry, others saw divinity. But here's where it gets stranger. Radiation sensors recorded unexplained electromagnetic spikes, the same pattern found in high-voltage containment fields. The readings suggested the chamber was sealed for a reason, perhaps even protected by something unseen. What could possibly produce such power beneath the earth after 3,000 years? Centuries ago, Jeremiah 3:16 foretold, "They will no longer say, 'The Ark of the Covenant of the Lord.' It will not come to mind, nor will they remember it, nor will they visit it." Many scholars interpret this as symbolic, but what if Jeremiah meant it literally? Some Jewish historians believe Jeremiah hid the ark before the Babylonian siege, concealing it in a mountain cave to protect it from destruction. New geological surveys align eerily with this theory, showing sealed tunnels connecting Shiloh to Mount Nebo, the same region where Moses saw the Promised Land. Was the ark buried along this route? New sonar mapping revealed an underground corridor leading eastward, a passage untouched since ancient times. Could Jeremiah's prophecy be resurfacing through stone and dust? Mini cliffhanger. The next revelation came not from Scripture, but from an unexpected modern source: declassified intelligence reports. Recently declassified CIA documents mention multiple attempts during the 1980s to locate an object of extreme cultural significance in the region of Shiloh and Mount Nebo. Among those reports were references to anomalous magnetic signatures matching metallic gold alloys. One of those expeditions mysteriously vanished. Their records were sealed for decades. Now, digital copies reveal photos of stone engravings identical to those found this year, inscriptions of two winged figures over an empty box. Coincidence, or the same object rediscovered after 40 years?
Faith leaders argue this timing is no accident. Prophecy and politics seem to converge, as though the Ark's reemergence is being orchestrated by divine timing. If true, this could mark the beginning of the restoration foretold in Ezekiel 37, a time when God's presence returns to Israel. But the next clue didn't come from a camera. It came from a sudden quake beneath the site. During a live excavation broadcast, seismographs in Shiloh recorded a 2.4 magnitude tremor centered directly beneath the newly found chamber. Cameras caught dust erupting through cracks, and for 30 seconds, the feed went dark. When it resumed, the air monitors inside showed elevated ozone and radiation spikes, identical to those found in lightning discharge zones. Was it coincidence or divine response? Geologists call it a tectonic echo. Theologists call it a warning. Zechariah 14 speaks of a day when the ground will split and the Lord will stand upon the Mount of Olives. The tremor reignited those comparisons. For the archaeologists, the quake was a wake-up call. Something ancient was stirring beneath their feet, and it wasn't merely geological. Then came the discovery that shook both the scientific and religious communities, an artifact partially visible through the debris. Through the debris, a glint of gold appeared, engraved, worn, but unmistakably patterned. The inscription read in Paleo-Hebrew, Kadosh LeYahweh, holy to the Lord. Carbon dating placed the fragment at circa 900 BCE, the exact era of Solomon's temple. Metallurgical analysis revealed a gold alloy composition unlike any known modern replication. It wasn't just ancient, it was otherworldly. Experts began whispering that this could be a corner fragment of the original Ark, possibly broken during the Babylonian destruction of the First Temple. And as word spread, so did the fear, because finding it could reshape the world's spiritual hierarchy. Christian theologians called it a prophetic sign. Jewish scholars called it a covenant resurfaced. Skeptics called it dangerous. But one final test would determine the truth, and its result left even the skeptics silent. To verify authenticity, scientists performed a frequency resonance test, projecting a low-energy field into the chamber. The readings that came back defied explanation. A harmonic pattern matching 432 Hz, a frequency long associated with ancient Hebrew temple music. As the data streamed in, sensors began to malfunction, batteries drained, and the air shimmered on live feed as if charged with static. The on-site rabbi fell to his knees, quoting 1 Chronicles 13:10, when Uzzah was struck down for touching the ark. No one touched the object again. Was it divine energy or natural magnetism amplified by faith and fear? Scientists still debated, but for believers, it was confirmation, proof that the covenant of God had never left the earth. And yet, before the world could see it, the Israeli Antiquities Authority sealed the site without explanation. The news spread faster than any press release could control. Within days, images of the sealed Shiloh chamber leaked online, grainy, unauthorized screenshots from an insider's phone, and suddenly the world erupted. News outlets called it the greatest archaeological discovery since the Dead Sea Scrolls. Religious leaders called it the awakening of prophecy. The Israeli government issued a quiet statement through the Antiquities Authority, confirming the discovery of a significant religious site under investigation, but declined to elaborate. Meanwhile, scholars pointed to Revelation 11:19, which says, "Then God's temple in heaven was opened, and within his temple was seen the ark of his covenant." For many believers, that verse felt like it was manifesting right before their eyes. Pilgrims began flooding Jerusalem, some praying, others weeping, claiming the return of the ark signals the nearing of the Messianic age. Prophecy channels on social media exploded with comparisons to 2 Maccabees 2, where Jeremiah is said to have hidden the ark in a mountain cave until the Lord gathers his people again. Could this be that moment? But governments saw it differently. Rumors swirled that the United Nations and Vatican had requested restricted access to the site, fearing global religious unrest. Intelligence sources whispered that world powers feared the Ark's reemergence could destabilize the fragile peace between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, three faiths that converge on the same holy ground. Then came a classified leak. A private research team reportedly measured an electromagnetic pulse at the site strong enough to disable instruments, followed by a strange low-frequency hum echoing through the chamber. Experts called it resonance. Theologians called it divine presence. And now, the question was no longer if it was real, but what happens next. The world waited for answers, but the silence that followed would only deepen the mystery. The site was sealed overnight. Military vehicles surrounded the area, and satellite imagery revealed heavy excavation equipment arriving under cover of darkness. No official explanation was given, but eyewitnesses reported armed guards patrolling the perimeter and drones hovering above Shiloh. A week later, the excavation tent was gone. Every instrument, every artifact, every trace removed, as if nothing had ever happened. The official narrative changed. The government claimed the radar readings were misinterpreted geological formations. But those who were there that night knew the truth. They had seen the light emanate from the earth. They had heard the hum. Meanwhile, across the world, prophetic scholars began connecting this silence to Amos 8:11, which warns, "The days are coming when I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of food nor thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord." Was this the silence before divine revelation, or suppression before exposure? Then came a final twist. Satellite thermal scans over the region, captured by independent researchers, showed a new heat anomaly extending from Shiloh toward Jerusalem's Temple Mount, as if something ancient was reawakening beneath the earth itself. Could this mean the Ark is being moved or protected? What lies beneath Jerusalem might not just be an artifact. It could be a spiritual trigger, one capable of uniting or dividing the world. For now, the official story has gone dark, but prophecy continues to whisper through the stones. And somewhere, deep beneath the soil of Israel, sealed in gold and silence, the covenant may be stirring once again. When the truth finally emerges, it won't just rewrite history, it may rewrite destiny itself.